I don't know. So now there are a number of questions that we're not sure how to classify, so we just put them into a special category, so to speak. So, Kara, is that the way you pronounce your name, by the way? Kara, is that correct? Or Chara?
No, thank you for pointing out. It's Kara.
Kara, okay, Kara. Very good. So, Kara, sorry?
It's ha, like when you laugh, Kara. So
Okay. Oh, that's okay. No problem. Okay.
thank
So,
you.
so you ask, where do blushing and potentially other non-ostensive bodily response fit in ostensive communication and in this revised model you propose? Well, as you said, they are potentially, then you go on discussing a literary example of possibly intentional blushing, and I think Deirdre will make an extra comment on that. Uh, um, so blushing is, apart from this literary example that you quote, is typically something that's not under intentional control and not even under, it cannot even be intentionally inhibited, unlike other things which are not intentionally controlled, but they can be initially inhibited, like other faces expressing emotions and so on. And so Darwin actually was interested in blushing, and he strangely, in his work on the expression of emotion, he thought it wasn't communicative. It was a side effect. But a lot of post-Darwinian evolutionary literature, on the contrary, has insisted on the first function of blushing and so on. But again, the notion is if you have things which are not under your intentional control, then they provide more reliable evidence of whatever inner state causes you or external state causes you to react in that manner. So we have a kind of reliability, which is an advantage of communication. So that's one. But again, and we suggested that one of the reasons ostensible evolved at all is precisely to contribute to making intentional communication more reliable, because of the weight of the social involvement, which it kind of makes manifest. So as I think we said in response to an earlier question, so we hope that the study of ostension helps explain also the difference between what's ostensive and what it's not, and therefore it gives helps reflect about expression of emotions which have a fit, what kind of communication they make possible, and to what extent they can be used ostensively by. So smile, a spontaneous smile is spontaneous and is actually physically different from an intentional smile. But you can just hide it or not show it. But if you smile and you turn to somebody and look them in the eye, you point to your own smile, so to speak. So you can exploit it's a piece of evidence that you can exploit ostensibly. And so there are all these interesting issues, but I think Deirdre has a bit more to say on blushing at this point. You're muted.
I just muted myself because my phone went off. I just actually wanted to draw attention to this long article by Kirsty Sellefold on that particular example that Hara discusses, which is an example from Edith Wharton, which mentions blushing as possibly a voluntary thing that one of the characters does. And so it's a very nice literary example that brings together both relevance theory and the discussion of literature. And it's published in a book that Terence Cave and I edited called Literature and Relevance Theory, or words to that effect. And so I just wanted to mention that in passing. So I don't think Kirsty's here, but it's a very nice paper.
Thank you. So I move to the next question. Stavros, could we now say that relevance theory pragmatics can or even should be extended to include the study of more aspects of meaning, like the one suggested in account of hearer's meaning, or perhaps information that you had previously referred to as unintentional given or rather intentionally given? So I in part addressed that in my answer to Hara. Studying ostensive communication and the role of relevance plays in it and the way it differs from other forms of communication, we hope may help understand these other forms of communication too, and also what happens in a lot of communication where many forms are, it's not just that you can use both basic and mentalistic, you can use both ostensive and non-ostensive. So the human communication in particular, and to some extent true of animals, is not only multimodal, and that's a topic that has been a lot studied a lot more recently, but also uses a lot of more subtle mechanisms than just modalities in a simultaneous manner. And we don't have a general fear of that, but we hope that our approach contributes to it. So Stavros, I hope that basically I'm saying yes, you're right to suggest that. So
Yes, no, I think that I hope you can hear me now a bit better. Can you?
yeah, I can hear you. Hello.
Okay, so no, I think I've also on the basis of your previous question answers, yes, I think I get what you're getting at with this. So yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you so
much.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
A question from Maria. Granted that modern AI, especially with the advent of large language models, can simulate certain aspects of communication, such as generating coherent text, understanding explicit utterances, and even responding in context-appropriate ways, do you envisage that ostensive inferential communication might be fully replicated in computational systems? So as you say, Maria, so what AI does, and especially LLMs, is simulate, insist on simulate certain aspect of communication. There's no, I mean, there's no reason to think that it fully replicates standing and so on. So it simulates well enough, so it's usually first extremely impressive and usually useful. But if you think of a cognitive process of understanding, there's little reason to assume that the capacities of LLMs, which makes us attribute understanding kind of spontaneously, I mean, they fit behavioral criteria of understanding, are based on mechanisms which are similar to what is understanding, say, in human beings by origin. So in any case, there's no reason to envisage that it might be fully replicated. That's too strong a barrier. How much light it can throw, I mean, how much simulation of ostensive communication abilities it might provide, and so it's interesting. I'm totally open. I get the bar of full replication is way too high, but the fact that it may change the way we think about it is something worth thinking about and looking at. So Maria, I don't know if that's.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Robin. So Robin, what is the relation of basic versus mentalistic ostension to the three interpretive strategies: naively optimistic, cautiously optimistic, sophisticated? Is it the case that basic ostension always and only involves a naive optimistic strategy? Oh, where is the case? Well, no, there's ostension again, as I said, is a way to compensate or even to increase the reliability of intentional communication that doesn't benefit from the reliability of automatic, spontaneous expressions. Indeed, in the case of basic ostension, you give actual evidence that in principle the addressee might have discovered on his own and interpreted the way you intend. And to the extent that the interpretation that makes your communicating about it depends on non-obvious interpretation, then some bit of mentalizing may be needed. So the evidence may not be sufficient by itself, if it's not reliable enough by itself, or you want it to be interpreted, it's not relevant by itself. So you're presenting ostensively with the expectation of relevance you thereby elicit may orient the interpretation one way or another. But if you think of human beings, we're devious enough, of course, to use very good direct evidence to communicate, to deceive. So I think we mentioned that in passing, that if apes present evidence of wanting something, so one ape presents a part of the body they want another ape to what's the term? Groom. So the others, that's they won't do that in a devious manner. They will do that only when indeed they want to be groomed on that part of the body. Humans are perfectly capable to give evidence of wanting something misleadingly, or in fact to detract attention from something else. So it's a good question. I don't think there's a simple answer, to put it otherwise. Okay, you're just nodding. I'll take it. That's what.
Well, no, I can't remember exactly what I had in mind here, but it was something around amounts of layers of levels of meta representation, and I'm afraid, to be perfectly honest, I don't recall well enough how these strategies worked, but my vague memory is that in the naively optimistic case, it was somehow much less. It was going to be much less meta representational, and that seemed to somehow fit with the basic ostension.
No, you're right. So the naive one is just take what is shown to you to be relevant. The cautiously optimistic is you assume that the communicator thought it would be relevant to you. And the sophisticated is that the communicator thought that it would seem relevant to you. So which involves indeed more presentation. But if there's no obvious, so again, you can use anything in all these ways. So you can talk, you appeal to mentalistic communication to a naive addressee who will go assume it's relevant to him automatically, and conversely, you can use basic ostension in a very sophisticated manner. So, but
okay, no, I do see that. Yeah, thank you.